calms me. It calms me down because I feel like I'm being taken care of. And unescorted minor, of course, is what it said on the sign. So, you know, that was a possible title for this too. Also, Jurassic Park.
It's taken.
Yeah, it was taken.
Yeah, well, too bad.
Yeah, I didn't have any dinosaurs.
You're also very honest in the book about, and this is something that people discover, anybody who's dealt with addiction in their own life, that
Vodka was an odd choice.
It's not vodka.
Yeah. Okay.
You're very honest about the benefits of the disease, in that you make a joke that idea that you had to entertain everybody and you had to please everybody ultimately earned you $80 million. It also made your life a living hell.
Yeah, it did. When I was in my 30s, I realized that I don't have to be funny all the time. You know, and what a break that was. It was like, oh, just calm down. You don't have to be funny all the time. People still like you if you're just, and it must have driven people crazy to be around me. Just stop with this, with all of these jokes. Just stop, just talk to me, you know. And, you know, once I did that, I was able to calm down, and I was able to know that maybe I am enough without doing that. And I realized that that was the truth, and that I'm the things oh, thanks. The core beliefs that I had were what I said before. I was too needy, I wasn't enough, and I didn't matter. And my whole life was about trying to have those three things not be true. And when I had a drink or I had a pill, I didn't feel like that anymore. And that's why I was so, you know, destined to be an addict and take all of these things. Because to some people, and I like saying this because people understand it, when most people have a drink, they feel a little goofy or something, and then they stop, and then they drive home, and then they go to work the next day. When I have a drink, all of a sudden, for the first time all day, the whole world makes sense. And if everybody felt that way, everybody'd be drunk all the time. You know what I mean? And I had that. And then I got to a point where I needed it. And all the things that, if you wake up and you need 55 Vicodin that day, that's a really hard day. You know, I had 8 doctors going and fake migraines and fake back injuries. I would sit in MRIs not injured, you know, just to get the pills if somebody who was injured, you know.
Go to open houses?
Oh, yeah. I would go to open houses and go to the bathroom and open the medicine cabinet and steal pills out of the medicine cabinet from the open houses, figuring that, and I looked at the dates, and if the dates were old enough, then I could take like 7. And if the dates were new, then I could only take 2 or 3, figuring that as I drove off, they weren't going to go, Chandler just ripped off pills from...
Chandler Bing?
Yeah.
No.
Stole from us while he's, you know. But that's what I would do in order to get the number up.
You, the first time that you picked up the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you discovered this quote, and you say in the book that it really resonated with you. These men were not drinking to escape. They were drinking to overcome a craving beyond their mental control.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the moment that you realized you were an addict. Why do you think, what was it about that statement that resonated with you?
Well, it made me understand right on the spot that I was an alcoholic, that there were people that wrote this book in 1939. There's 10 million to 20 million people who suffer from this. And it was a great moment because I was no longer alone. I did think that I was drinking to escape. I didn't think I was drinking to overcome a mental disorder I didn't even know that I had. I mean, how confusing is that to a 24-year-old, you know? And I forgot your question.
It was, why did that statement resonate with you? But you answered it.
I just proved it.
Yeah. Writing a book about addiction is, people are going to read it. People are going to see their story in your story. They're going to realize that they need help. They're going to realize they're not alone. But what do you say to someone who reads this book and says, he's got millions of dollars. If he wants it, he's got all the time in the world to go get help. And it has been so difficult for him. Mm-hmm. And what do you say to that person?
Well, you're right about the money thing. Like, I'm not sure whether it helped or not. But I can't tell you how many people, thousands to 4,000 people, have come up to me and said, if Matthew Perry can do it, well, then I can do it. And when you think about it, it's not that nice a thing to say.
Well,
but,
given what you went through, I understand.
Yes. And it does,
I hope it's not as hard for me, but
right,
he can do it, right?
So I think that, that it gets back to no matter how far down the scale I've gone, I can help people. And if I do it publicly, sort of like I've done now, there hasn't been that many books written from the addict and from the addict's point of view. And again, I get back to that thing that I said a few minutes ago, which was, everybody who isn't touched by this disease just thinks, just stop,
Yeah.
just stop. And you can't. You can't. It's an obsession of it's two-pronged disease. It's an obsession of your mind and an allergy of your body. So what happens is you think about a martini, and then all you can think about is a martini. You can't think of anything. You can't, well, I'm on Friends. I gotta have a martini. I can't think of anything other than a martini. So you ultimately do the insane, which is insane. And I'm insane. I'm definitely insane, but only in this area, So you break the bond of sobriety and you drink the martini. And what happens to your body is it says, oh, okay, now you've drank the martini. Now you've got to drink everything you've ever drank and more today, now, right now. At 2 o'clock in the morning, you've got to race across town to try to get a bottle of vodka so you can drink it at home or you're screwed. So that's how confusing and cunning and baffling and powerful this disease is.
Let's go back to the first day for the first table read of Friends.
Yeah.
And you write very vividly about remembering that day so clearly. You, of course, had no idea what it was going to become. But what was that day like for you?
I knew, this is a good look right here. I knew that the show was going to be successful. I had no idea it would become what it became, but it was, we all had been involved with this script and auditioned for it and knew how good it was and character-driven it was, and the last shows that Marta Kaufman and David Crane and Kevin Bright had done was a success, and it was the show to get. And then we did the table read and got to see, oh, that's what David Schwimmer does with the line, and oh, that Lisa Kudrow's pretty funny, and then it became my turn, and then I was funny, and it was a really crowded room. Everybody wanted to be in that room. And what I talk about is that once we got back to the stage, you could hear people's dreams coming true. It was like a popping sound. It was like pop, pop, pop. You could hear everybody's dreams come true as we walked to our cars, and as we knew we get to drive there the next day, and Jim Burrows was the best director in town, and he was directing it, and you had the best writers, luckily the best cast, magic was happening, and it certainly curtailed my drinking for a while. When you have a big cast, you're not allowed to drive.
And tell us, Chandler speak could I be more annoying?
Yes.
You joke. Do you remember your first Chandler speak on the show?
I think it was, could it be any hotter in here?
That started when you were a kid.
Yeah,
the Murray brothers.
The Murray brothers, Brian and Chris Murray and I in 3rd grade started talking that way. And it was like, could that teacher be any meaner? And I, of course, am the one that took it and ran with it. You know, but they're great, and they're not upset about that at all. And actually, through this book, they're getting a little taste of fame themselves.
Good,
because
good.
They were on Jeopardy the other night. There was the question of like Matthew Perry's friends from 3rd grade who started, and they were like the answer on Jeopardy. It was great. One's an architect, one's a developer, and it's great for them now.
I think
I made $80 million doing it.
Yeah.
Might be a sliver of bitterness. I don't know.
Yesterday, you came by SiriusXM and you did my show there. And my co-host, Julia Cunningham, said when you know, because in the book you write about this sort of long, simmering crush on Jennifer Aniston. Mm. And Julia, my co-host, became very concerned that during the Friends reunion, when David Schwimmer and Aniston started talking about their little fling, that you were seething with anger.
No, I saw it happening. They would cuddle like right on the stage. I was like, are you guys kidding? And Jennifer, you clearly don't like me.
You write one, I think it was season 4 or something, where you were in very good shape.
Yeah.
You were clean, and you said you looked really good. Still not good enough for Jennifer Aniston, but pretty fucking good.
Yeah. She, in fact, said to me, as we watched that episode once, she said, that's the best you've ever looked. And I just went, no, still not good enough for you.
How have any of them responded to the book or reached out to you or been curious at what you said about them?
The book has been out for a day.
Okay, true.
So I have heard from a couple of them, which is very nice, and I'm sure I'll hear from everybody. But that's the amazing thing about what's going on with this book. It's touching the hearts of everybody. It's because I think it's somebody that they recognize, and somebody that they see on the outside must have everything that they want. And yet, I've almost died several times from this. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I think I've had a kind of a torturous existence, you know, up until now. And I think that that's touching the hearts of people, and they're learning. I kind of describe what alcoholism and addiction is like from the inside, you know. And again, as I opened tonight when I said, you know, everybody knows somebody that has this or has a relative that has this, and it sort of opens the door. It's like, it's okay, come, you know, if you have this problem, raise your hand and tell people about it. And that's the way you're going to be saved, you know. And if you raise your hand over there, I'm going to run over, try to help you.
I know from people.
Somebody just raised their hand.
Oh.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Clearly, he remembered it.
He sure did.
Yeah. You don't remember a thing.
No.
The Murray brothers and Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
All over it.
Yeah.
Running naked through supermarkets with your friend David Pressman.
Sure.
Mentioned in passing, no more details.
Well, he did stuff like that all the time. You're referring to walking into the store and saying, I'm completely nude, please shave me.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
In my writing, it's running naked through supermarkets. But
No, he planted himself.
Yeah,
right
planted himself.
Yeah, well, those are the kind of things we thought were funny back then.
But you were adults.
I was 35 years old. On TV.
Very famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like an important guy, screaming that I needed to be shaved in the 7-Eleven. kind of overact a little bit, or you kind of like wink at the audience a little bit, like I might cry here, you're going to enjoy this, watch this. And in a movie, you don't do that. You play it completely for real. And, you know, there are ways that we do it, and we think of things that are very sad. It was easy for me to do that, and, you know, but on a show, you'd be like, well, this is the saddest I've ever been, as opposed to just going, I'm really sad right
Could I be any sadder?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Not in a movie.
No, not in a movie.
I've got some audience questions.
Oh, good.
I think it's time for audience questions.
Okay.
Nabila says, Chandler Bing kept me laughing through the bad times. What keeps Matthew Perry laughing? I love this question because there must be some things you take joy in and can laugh at, even in difficult.
Yeah, I mean, levity and laughter has probably saved my life over the years, you know? And I still do think it's funny to, I don't do it, but walk into a 7-Eleven and say, somebody shaved me. But I have a normal life now, you know, and I have game nights and I play a lot of pickleball, which is really fun, and a sport that's sweeping the nation, and like it is. Unfortunately, it's called pickleball.
This is, yeah.
But, you know, and I have friends that I, you know, laugh and talk with, and that's the kind of thing that I enjoy. And I'm an actor. I'm all of a sudden a writer. And that got born out of a meeting that I had with my sponsor, and I was feeling uncomfortable and agitated. And he said, one of the ways to beat that is to be creative. And I said, oh. Okay, and I sat in front of my my laptop, and 10 days later I'd written a play. So I was a playwright, and we went to London and we did it, and we went to New York and did it, and then I just wrote a screenplay that hopefully will become something which I'd like to direct, and you have all these new possibilities. Friends have to get you to that point. And it's not hard to get to that point, because for me, whenever somebody would bring it up, I go, okay, stop everything. I gotta go get this again, get sobriety again.
There's also a very powerful, gentle way to say, I'm worried about you. I think you drink too much.
Yeah.
And that's the end of it, you know, but they hear that enough, those things sink in, and sometimes it takes some time, but sometimes just acknowledging that there might be a problem without, you know, alienating someone is good to do.
Yeah, I mean, but they know. You know, they know. I always knew. But you're right. Sometimes when people would bring it up, I would say, oh, it's gotten too bad because everybody's noticing, and I'll go get help.
We're out of time.
No, this is fun.
Now I don't know what to do.
Get more pieces of paper.
Told to end it.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Oh. Okay, well, bring it up here. You have terrible seats.
Couldn't find somebody on the aisle to bring a cart?
All right. Yeah. There you go.
I brought my best friends to see him.
Oh, good.
I watched Friends to Learn English, and I'm a nursing student.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'll read this later.
Nobody will arrest us if we go a couple more minutes. Who was the best? This is Masha and Arthur asking, who was the best at foosball?
I'll give that to Matty LeBlanc.
Okay.
Monica was, I'm sorry? Can I be at your burial? What did she say?
Be Real. It's an app.
Oh.
It's an app.
No. No, just enjoy the show. I don't want to be on an app. No, no.
All right. We're gonna have the last question.
Okay.
We talked earlier because it's all falling apart. It's chaos now.